Hey y'all, good morning, and welcome back to the channel. Listen y'all, I came across a story that I want to share with you, and it has me really thinking, okay, have we as a country, have we now taken a step back away from being energy independent? Okay, those of y'all who have been following me here on the channel, you know I talk about, and maybe you even share some of the same concerns about our country being energy independent. You know, we as a country, you know, we invest millions, if not billions of dollars in importing oil from other countries and other natural resources, right? Well, how is it that there are parts of the United States where we could very well be drilling for oil, um, cutting down costs and things like that, or certainly costs that are passed to consumers like you and I? But this latest move, I'm really not sure. I would like to know your thoughts, okay? Please make sure that you like this video, share this video, leave me a comment or comments and let me know your thoughts on this topic, okay? Listen, y'all, it was reported just yesterday that President Biden is blocking oil drilling in what is described as, and I quote, irreplaceable Alaskan wildlands, okay? In a subcaption, it says, in the wake of the Willow decision, such development would be banned in nearly half of the National Petroleum Reserve, Alaska, with oil leases canceled in an iconic wildlife refuge. Okay, let me give you some facts according to my sources. The article says that President Biden moved Wednesday, which was just yesterday, happy Thursday, by the way, to protect more than 10 million acres of Alaska's North Slope from development, barring oil drilling across giant swaths, and canceling leases in the iconic Arctic National Wildlife Refuge issued under President Donald Trump. Okay, so obviously this was something that was put into place by former President Trump, and for whatever reason, I'll give you some details on that. President Biden is moving, or has moved rather, to cancel that, okay? Now, the article says that the conservation push covers nearly half of the National Petroleum Reserve, Alaska, or the NPRA, the article says, okay, the nation's largest expanse of public land, which provides habitat for a range of sensitive Arctic wildlife, including caribou and shorebirds. It would impose a permanent ban on oil and gas developments for 10.6 million acres of the reserve, but would not block ConocoPhillips's Willow project. Okay, you may want to do your research on that. I need to research that as well. It says it would not block the ConocoPhillips's Willow project, which the article says Biden approved there earlier this year and is poised to produce 576 million barrels of oil over the next 3 decades. That's 30 years, y'all, okay? Now, the article also mentions that in a separate move, the Interior Secretary, Deb Haaland, is canceling. So much canceling going on, right? So the Interior Secretary, Deb Haaland, is canceling all 7 outstanding leases the Trump administration awarded for oil exploration in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge in the state's northeast corner. Drilling, the article says, had been banned in the refuge, one of the nation's most pristine natural areas, for decades until Congress ordered lease sales there in 2017. Okay, as a candidate, the article says Biden pledged to undo those leases as part of his sweeping, listen at this, y'all, climate agenda. Okay, in a statement, Biden said that the state is full of, and I quote, breathtaking natural wonders that need protection. Okay, he also continued by saying, and I quote, as the climate crisis, we talked about that, right, y'all? President Biden was quoted as saying, as the climate crisis warms the Arctic more than twice as fast as the rest of the world, we have a responsibility to protect this treasured region for all ages. Okay, now that very well may be true. I'm not here to say it's true or not, but I wonder where he's getting his information from. You know, it sounds like right away, you know, that he has made this decision, you know, based on the fact that, according to his sources, climate change, or the climate crisis, as the article refers to, is having a negative impact on this particular area, wildlife refuge. Now, like I said, that could very well be the case, but, you know, is that something that should be further investigated to find out if that is in fact true? Okay. Now, the article says that while the moves would do nothing to stop the willow development, a top target of climate activists, it would ensure long-term protections for areas that provide vital wildlife habitat. Okay, that's according to Chris Wood, president of the conservation group Trout Unlimited. Okay, he estimated that the federal government hasn't set aside so many acres of land for conservation since the early 2000s. Okay, just kind of skimming through it. There's an organization, you may want to look this up if you're interested, Friends of the Earth. Okay, never heard of them. Friends of the Earth late Wednesday called the new announcement, and I quote, a half measure. Small measures like the ones the Department of Interior put forward won't erase President Biden's what they refer to as incredibly disappointing climate record with respect to oil and gas leaking. Okay, that's according to Reina Garcia, the group's senior public lands and fossil fuels campaigner, said in a statement. Okay, and I quote, I continue to quote, this person said, if the administration is truly committed to protecting our people and the planet, they will halt climate destroying projects like Willow altogether. Okay, the article continues by saying that drilling in Alaska has complicated Biden's attempt to enact aggressive measures to fight climate change. Okay, oil advocates and industry analysts have said some areas of NPRA are among the richest oil reserves available in the country, and Alaskan lawmakers, Alaskan lawmakers themselves, they're actually pushing for development as a major source of jobs and revenue. Okay, so where's that balance between using the resources that are here in our country, but also preserving wildlife and land? Okay, where's the line drawn? Where's the balance in doing that? Okay, but the article says Biden had come to office promising, and I quote, no more drilling on federal lands, period. That was a quote he allegedly said. Okay, Alaska Oil and Gas Association President Kara Moriarty said in an email that the new Biden policies will make the United States more reliant on foreign oil, which that's the point I brought up, which could produce more planet warming emissions than oil extracted in Alaska. Okay, this person was quoted as saying, and I quote, the constant barrage of government regulation changes and whipsaws tells investors that Alaska is not a place to do business. She said that, and I continue to quote, makes no sense because Alaska has high environmental standards and some of the lowest emissions in the country. Okay, in March, Biden had approved the Willow project under intense political pressure, saying he was compelled to because the company had legal leases for the area that predated his presidency. Okay, you all let me know, do you have any insight into the Willow project? What exactly is that? Is it a benefit to our country? Does it help us become energy independent? Okay. President Biden also announced that decision along with a plan to give, and I quote, maximum protection, a status authorized by Congress for another 13 million acres in the reserve. Wednesday's move makes that plan an official proposal, including requirements for environmental mitigation for 2.4 million acres where oil leasing can still happen there, and the ban on oil and gas leasing for the rest of it. Okay. The proposal would also require reviews and public consultation every 5 years on whether to expand or designate new special areas for conservation in the reserve. Interior's Bureau of Land Management will also be hosting public meetings about the proposal and taking public comment for 60 days before creating a final rule. Okay. In speaking about President Trump's lease sales, they had this to say on the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Halen said the lease sale under Trump was flawed. Okay, this is a quote. Based on a number of fundamental legal deficiencies, the Bureau of Land Management and the Fish and Wildlife Service have drafted a new analysis under Biden supporting the conclusion, administration officials have said. Okay, they also found that Trump officials failed to meet requirements under the National Environmental Policy Act to analyze alternatives or to quantify greenhouse gas emissions from the development, administration officials said. That led Halen to cancel the leases, administration officials said. Okay. All right, y'all. So that's pretty much the gist of the article. The article also concludes by saying today the area remains a sizable reserve for domestic supplies of oil, but has become increasingly prized as an Arctic wildland, offering key habitat for polar bears, migrating caribou, and waterfowl. Okay. Climate activists and many environmentalists were dismayed March 13th when the Biden administration approved the Willow Project, which according to federal officials could produce 576 million barrels of oil over 30 years. Okay, I got a little more insight. ConocoPhillips has held leases to develop oil as part of the Willow Project since the late 1990s. After roughly 5 years of permitting and legal fights, the Biden administration approved the project to have as many as 3 drilling sites with up to 199 total wells. Okay, it shrank the project from the 5 pads that ConocoPhillips had originally proposed following recommendations from a government review to keep development out of yellow-billed loon nesting site and caribou migration paths. Okay, so a lot of people, quite naturally, some may criticize the fact and say, hey, well, they want to protect caribou and other animals, wildlife, rather than using a portion of that land, or however many acres, to drill oil and create more energy independence. Okay, of course that's going to be met with criticism. People are going to be for it, people are going to be against it. Okay, you can let me know your thoughts. I do feel like our country definitely, especially with inflation and everything, our country should take steps to move towards energy independence. However, at the same time, and that's why I say, where's that line between protecting habitats, natural habitats, and also setting up different measures to make our country energy independent. Okay, a lot of people, may criticize this. I'm not here to say people are right or wrong. I'm just sharing the information. How do I feel about it? Again, I feel like our country should move towards energy independence, but then I understand the value of land and how it can contribute to the environment in a positive way. Not necessarily looking at it from the point of, well, something could necessarily, I'm trying to find the words to what I'm saying. How do I personally feel about it? Again, I do feel like our country should be moving towards energy independence, but I understand there may be some concerns, okay, not necessarily from the climate standpoint, but from the standpoint of not wanting to disrupt habitats and things like that. For example, I live in an area and also travel in an area where there's a lot of development going on. Trees are being cut down. Now, if it's in the Arctic, okay, I don't know. I've never been to the Arctic. Maybe you can help me understand this, but I don't know if there are a lot of trees. It sounds like they're more concerned necessarily about the wildlife. But then on those millions of acres, I don't know just how much are trees or if it's mostly ice. I don't know. Y'all can help me. Maybe I need to do more research before I really speak about my thoughts on that, because I would have to understand the land that's in question. Okay, hope I made sense, y'all. Hope I shared some information, news to give you something to think about. I really would like to know your thoughts on this topic. Again, have we taken a step back now away from energy independence? Okay, let me know your thoughts. Have a blessed day. Have a thankful Thursday. It's always something to be thankful for, y'all. Take care. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.